Hello, everyone. This is Percy at the Penis Popper podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Dying Like the Hunted and the Onslaught timeline. I'm here with
Yeah,
I'm here with the creator of the Onslaught. Apparently,
sure.
this madman came to me. He was like, he came to me one day. I was just sitting around, jacking myself off, and he burst in the room saying, "Hey, pal, why can't my series?" Dying Like the Onslaught join the Dying Like the Hunted cinematic universe. And I was like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm jacking off here. And then I got out of the room when I was finished and I said, you know what? What a great idea. So we've never actually gone past the whole timeline of the spectrum of everything. You guys are probably a little confused too. Because I'm not a very good filmmaker, you see. I'm more of a uh
Ignore that.
okay. I'm more of a man myself who does things badly and then redoes it later. So I wanted to talk about the timeline of Dying Like the Hunted, the ages of some of the characters, some of the different, kind of go into more detail on kind of Nate and Volna's explanation. I want to go into more of the lore of the virus, how it started, who really the main antagonists were in the film. We want to go over how the Onslaught connects. Um, and I'm going to be going over two new things, which is a new thing called Dying Late the Hunted Forgotten Agents, which is a little kind of like mini series based off of Dying Like the Hunted Season 1 and Dying Like the Hunted Season 2, which will be coming out probably in the next 2 months while I'm working. So, first of all, let's start off with Season 1. It takes place in 2017. Season 2 is going to be taking place in 2021, so 4 years would have passed since the nuke went kablooey and sent Nate flying into a car.
Yeah.
Um,
Bluey.
Kablooey. Nate is 26 years old in season 1. Volna is 22 in season 1. I couldn't put 18 because then it wouldn't make sense why they'd be in a bar unless they were underage drinking because, they're built different. They're just cool. But Nate was a part of the Grant family line. They were his father was a accountant. His mother was a teacher. So they didn't really have. They had a pretty good sum of money from their father's accounting job. Nate Grant didn't really have a job going into college. He was kind of broke. He didn't ask for any money from his father because he felt like it would be too much of a burden. And he was kind of on his knees begging for any type of scrap of money he had during college. So this random kid comes up, right? It's a kid who's scrawny, he has glasses. Little does Nate know that this guy is actually a member of an underground group called the Wolf Spiders. They're an underground group of assassins, contract killers, and stuff. And the scrawny look was just an act to get Nate into becoming a killer because they had already seen how he worked. They had been watching him at a shooting range. His father taught Nate how to shoot at a shooting range, and he was extremely good at it. At first, Nate thought about selling, or not selling out, but trying to recruit, like join the Marines, volunteer in the Marines, but he couldn't really do that because he didn't really have discipline. He didn't know any type of discipline. Unlike Volna, who was extremely disciplined after being, sent into martial arts classes, learning discipline, learning CQC, hand-to-hand combat, stuff like that. But enough about that. During this time, oh yeah, I think that this was probably when he was 18. So his first victim was in 2010. Volna, Koyo, son of the Koyo family, Volna's father was a fisherman. He was actually a fisherman. His mother was, well, she was more of like someone who would do freelance like tailoring. She was a tailor. She made clothes for people and then would go out in a stand in a marketplace and sell that. Volna's father taught him how to use a bow because they had a lot of sticks and string from him fishing, and he decided to learn how to use a bow and decided to teach his son how to do that as well. He also learned how to, get clothes and, make things like bandages and clothing from his mother. Volna was in Markov's bar, strangely enough, and Jay, who was one of the characters that I didn't really put any part on, he just died, like, right in Dying Light, the Hunted episode 2. It was no reason for him to be there until I decided to add more to his character. He is also a recruiter from the Wolf Spiders. So he saw Volna, was like, oh, this crazy mean son of a bitch. I'm definitely seeing this guy could be a killer. So he decides to recruit Volna into the Wolf Spiders as well. Now, Volna's first kill was in 2013, 3 years after Nate's victim. So Nate, at this point, in 3 years, Nate has become a full-fledged killer. He's had a lot of partners. He's all refined and stuff, but he's still in college. He's on his last year of college during this point. And then we get to 2015, which is the tragedy of both of them. This is when Nate is about to move out of college. His family comes to help him pack. And you know what they see? You know what they see? They see a hit list. Nate's been getting too sloppy, and the family, like his father and his mother, both see a hit list. They are completely mortified at seeing this, finding out that their son is a cold-blooded killer. So his mother immediately says, "Oh, no, I can't have this. We need to call the police immediately." His father, though, realizes this could be a stain on their name, on their legacy. So he decides, we're just going to disown the kid because it's better than knowing that the Grant family line has a killer in the mix. So that's what happens. It's pretty sad for Nate because now he doesn't have anyone. His father, his mother are both gone. It's pretty sad. And then we get to Volna's, which is of August 21st, 2015, 2 weeks after Nate's tragic. It's Volna's birthday. He comes home expecting a surprise party from his family, from his father, his mother, his brother. And there's nobody there. The entire place is trashed, and he finds blood on the floor and a laptop, which he opens. He finds out his family's been kidnapped by the demons, realizing that his kills had consequences. And now he's watching his entire family gutted and slaughtered like animals in front of him, and he's helpless to do anything. Volna goes on an absolute fucking rampage and kills every demon through the streets. Just going full on cleaning house with all of them. And then he slaughters the quote-unquote slaughterer that he thought it was, the one who had gutted his family, and he kills him the same way, except letting it, go out a bit. Now, at this point, we have the backstory of both of them, and at the first meet is about a year after both the incidents, which is July 18th, 2016. They first meet at the bar. Nate is sitting there all sad, and Volna comes to talk to him to cheer him up. They both talk about stories, about their lives, and they depart as acquaintances. They aren't really friends yet. Now, during about not a year, like a week after this, which is July 25th, 2016, Nate and Volna both meet up again to take down a military soldier who went AWOL and took a mysterious file. Now, the reason I left a lot of that out is because I planned to make that file be the research on the virus. See, the virus was going on at least maybe... It started back in like January of 2016. So it started pretty early on, and the military blocked off the countryside. They completely kicked everyone out of their homes and sent them back to the city in Iran. That's even why Volna and Nate met in the first place. Mostly that military soldier stole the research they had been going on the virus and was going to sell it to the highest bidder, to like the Soviets or to China or to Korea. It was depending on who was the highest bidder. They were just going to sell the research to it for no reason other than personal gain. And so Nate was sent to kill the guy. Volna was sent to get the research back. But he didn't know it was research. He just thought it was a missing file. Now, we've gotten them both meeting. And now the events of Dying Like the Hunted Episode 1 started January 12th, 2017. And that's when the virus starts. I guess I'll let Lando Productions go on with his backstories of his characters or the start of it now.
Alright. Well, I'm just gonna say Miles, Max, and Ethan, the three main characters, they all known each other way before the virus even started. They were like the three main, class clowns in the school. Miles, Max, and Nathan, they've known each other before the virus even started, and they always hung out, like, after school, during school, and all that. They're kind of like, what's a good trio from a good show? I don't know.
They were like the Three Musketeers.
The Three Musketeers, yeah. Anyway, they all got along very good and all that stuff. But then this is when Steve comes in, this little idiot.
This little fart.
Max. Yeah, this little idiot. Anyway, so Max just finds Steve alone like a loser, and he tries to be nice to him, and they end up being friends, and that ends up kind of like
the worst mistake.
The worst mistake they ever made. Yeah, and also, where should I start?
So at this point, the affection has just come out. So that is on January 12th, 2017. The butcher has just been killed. And the rest of the demons have unleashed the Night Hunter from the security checkpoint. He's ran out. He's bitten a few people. He's killed a few people. The virus is already spreading through the bloodstream of the dead. And they're coming back as... So I guess this is a really good time to talk about how the virus works. So, what you got is the quarantine demon. Not the quarantine demon. The Night Hunter. That was genetically modified. That is not the actual virus taking place. The actual virus was a form of the flu, a very highly mutated version of the flu. It was probably a mix of the flu and maybe rabies. They both kind of combined and made this awful virus. However, the demons decided that wasn't enough, and they decided to add more side effects to it, genetically modifying the virus to make it even worse. Where when you're infected, you get flu symptoms, and if you die to that, if you don't get help, like you don't get sterilizing, you don't take
Yeah.
antibiotics, you will die. And when you die, you come back, and you come back as something called the infected, which is, the Dying Light's version of the viral. You're screaming, you're back to life for some reason, you're in constant pain, and you're angry that you're back to life. You're bleeding from your eyes, your mouth, and you're trying to find the closest human possible. When you come back as an infected, you have heightened sense and smell. You can sense a living, uninfected person from about maybe 40, 50 feet away. That's why in Dying Light, the Hunted, Forgotten Agents, so many virals show up. Or, sorry, infected show up, because they can sense the two agents. It's not just sound, it's just they show up because they know they're there. Now, after that, the infected starts to slow down, and your sentience starts to go away gradually until you're not there anymore and the infection has taken everything over. You're just a shambling creature, which is the biter. At this point, the biter is actually more reinforced than the infected. For some reason, the... and put this candy corn away. The biters are stronger for some reason, but they are less dangerous than virals because they don't have the tactical mind. However, if you do get cornered, it is extremely dangerous. The next version, which is, brought up, is probably the spitter, which is, biters that have been around toxic waste and radiation. That'll come into play later in season 2. But they kind of like, same thing with the exploders. They both have been around radiation, toxic waste, and it's like morphed their body, as in they have those really weird mutations. Another is the nightmares, which is the Dying Light's volatile. They only come out at night, like the volatile, except they only show up when they hear that the biters have woken up at night. The biters usually sleep at night so that they have more, have more energy to roam around and find food in the morning. But if they wake up, oh, you're fucked. You're fucked, man, because the nightmares will come running. And if those start screaming as they're being attacked, the alpha nightmares will come around. They're the strongest of the, nightmare nests. And then finally, you have the bruiser, which is someone who is strong, extremely strong, like bodybuilders or a miner. They are the ones who become bruisers eventually because their muscles mutate and they become big and strong. And then you have the mutants, which are either police officers or SWAT team members that were bruisers before but mutated and were given bigger. Sometimes the mutants are just genetically made. Kind of like like Mr. X from Resident Evil or the Tyrant. They're kind of made like that. But overall, the virus is actually a terrible thing because in the beginning, you're in constant pain. You are sentient during that. However, you aren't controlling your own body. You're just watching everything happen. but you're still feeling everything. And so then you have the Night Hunter, which is a genetically modified by the demons, and this will be coming into play in season 2. The cult called the Children of the Goddess. They are a cult that believes that there was a goddess, and what she did, my neck. She was going to cause the entirety of the world to be set aflame and started new, which was, the nuke that Nate set off. The quarantine demon knew what he was doing when he was sending Nate to set off the nuke, because he wanted to, finish the cult's prophecy, because they helped the quarantine demon make the Night Hunter. The first 1.0 Night Hunter was able to be controlled by the demons. It was just some random cult member who wanted to become the zealot of the cult, to become their defender. And, the quarantine demon just gave Volna and Nate's sense to the Night Hunter, and, he went off and attacked Volna and Nate. So, that happened. And then Volna was left bleeding out in that, what was it? It was like a junkyard? Yeah, it was a junkyard.
It was like a junkyard.
Mm-hmm. And so he's left bleeding out. The demons take him, and they spend 2 months just mentally torturing him, trying to get it into his mind that Nate left him, that that Nate didn't need him anymore after he was old and broken. And so Volna became to grow hatred and anger towards Nate. And then the quarantine demon just let Volna loose. And Volna, of course, went after the people in the tower because he knew that they were close to Nate. He would take them down first, causing more pain from Nate. Then he eventually was attacked by both Nate and Markov. He ran away back to the countryside where he was, reborn, and he stayed near the dam, which was actually, I never said this, but that was actually where the cult was staying, deep underground, underneath the dam. That's where the cult's going to be staying. And so during that, he has 2 parts to his brain. He has him, and then, to quote Volna, something else entirely, which was him and his anger, his rage, his animalistic nature as the Night Hunter. And that was they kept fighting every now and then. They were always fighting inside the brain for control. You could definitely see the conflict when Volna and Nate are having their last battle. You can see Volna starts to hesitate when they were walking in a defensive position. That was Volna. That was him trying to stop the Night Hunter and his anger and his rage from fighting. He was trying to hesitate. However, Nate was so done that he just wanted to kill him and be over with. And in the beginning of that fight, it was definitely his animalistic nature showing up. And then at the end, when Volna was looking at Nate, that was definitely Volna looking. That was definitely his side. The Night Hunter was dead. It was gone, and now it was just Volna looking at his old friend, his partner, his brother, about to sacrifice him, about to mercy kill him. And so that was kind of Volna's point. Now, I never actually kind of talked about, this is probably the last thing I'm going to talk about for DLTH for the moment, and then I'll let Lando talk about the infection, kind of what he was thinking about with the story, and then we'll keep going on from there. So, during the hallucinations of Volna, showing up whenever Nate was going to pick up a key card or something, when he was going through that wild goose chase chase, that fetch quest. Um, Volna wasn't there. That wasn't his spirit. That was Nate's last few memories of Volna coming back and being used as his conscience. So when Volna said he was proud that Nate left him there, that wasn't really Volna. That was Nate convincing himself that he did the right thing. That was Nate going, I guess he wasn't going insane, but he was like losing sanity as time went on. He wasn't thinking straight after being strucken with grief. Or when the point when Volna snapped the neck of that zombie, that was actually Nate doing that. That wasn't Volna, but he was hallucinating that Volna had been the one to snap the necks of those zombies. In the end, you might be confused on why Nate even just let himself turn on the nuke. Like, any rational person would be like, no, there's hundreds of people living here. But Nate, he was stricken with grief. He wasn't thinking straight. He was hallucinating his dead partner. And he couldn't even think straight anymore. He just did what the quarantine demon asked him to do. And then, well, he filled the entire quarantine zone with radiation and fire. And then he died.
So basically, the quarantine demon broke him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was gonna put a part where maybe Nate was tortured by the quarantine demon, just like Volna was, for like maybe a month, maybe two. But I didn't think about that. I was thinking more about the point of I want the story to get to the end. I don't want to drag it more on than I could. However, I might bring it back that maybe during that time when he went to go get the dam, maybe that part has more time in between where he was tortured more and more, and then he was finally let free, and then, Nate broken just did what he was asked. But that might come up in season 2. Or the Onslaught might bring up on it. I don't know, because it's his series.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna let Lando talk about the Onslaught and what his version of the infection and everything, and his story, all the different like factions, I guess, that they work with.
All right.
I'll talk about the Slack
So
after you.
I'm just going to talk about everything before the Huron military just showed up. So anything before you see the Huron military, there's going to be. I'm going to talk about those factions. So near the bridge, that little boat thing. That's where Stevesman is. All that stuff. That's where they are. And as you saw in like episode, what was it? I think it was like third episode. You saw Nathan. It's weird that we had the same name. Anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. The main characters have the same name, just different nicknames of it. Nathan.
Yeah.
I remember eventually I was gonna have it that maybe during the Forgotten Soldiers that Steve was going to have the soldiers go after Nathan, because I thought it was Nate Grant, and it was going to be a little nod to how similar the names are, and how outrageous that is. But I never actually went into that because I felt like, no, I don't want to add too much to the Onslaught story. That's his story. If he wants to add more to show that it's in the same universe, he can do that. Or if he wants to add more that I didn't add on to in Dying Like the Hunted, he can do that as well. I don't want to add anything. Like, I don't want to be I don't want to be directing the Onslaught like he is. I just, want to give him a few ideas and then just wait for the episode to come out and enjoy it.
Well, I do give you permission to. You can tell me your ideas, and you can put them in your. I'm just gonna call it roleplay. We're just the hunted.
Not a roleplay. Ah!
It's a roleplay.
I call
Okay.
it roleplay only to get more views. I really, Lando gave
Yeah, I
me
told
this.
him that.
Yeah, he told me that. Put roleplay in it. I get like 50 views on part 2 alone from it after I put roleplay on all of them, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
Anyway, so in episode 3, we saw the demons where Nathan was with the demons for like, I don't know. What was the jump cut? How long was the jump cut? Like,
For what?
there was a time jump.
There was.
I'm checking right.
So the time jump, if you're talking about the time jump between the infection and Nate waking up from his coma for being attacked, I'd say that was about maybe a week. Maybe, because it would have taken Jason a long time to get to the tower, because it's a long way away. They don't have cars. It's like halfway across the city. And of course he has to stop to get food, and he has to hide from the rest of the infected, stay on the roofs, which will take a little bit longer. Plus, he doesn't know how to do parkour like Nate does. He doesn't know how to, climb like Markov was able to. He's just some guy. He's trying to survive. And I'm thinking of bringing him back in Season 2, what happens to him, because I know that he escapes the raid of the tower. So do the 2 agents during Forgotten Agents. And he shows up in Steve's group, surprisingly.
Yep.
Just out of nowhere. He's in one scene. He deepened his voice so nobody recognizes him. But he will show up in Season 2 of Dying Like the Onslaught. We'll see who he is. We don't know. You don't know.
We don't know.
I'm telling you.
We don't know. Anyway, so Nathan, he was in the demons group for I don't know, I'd say a week or 2.
Wait a minute. So wait, episode 3. That was the demons.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I thought it was just some random raider group, and I didn't think it was that makes so much fucking sense now, because the outfit he was wearing. Oh my god! I'm such an idiot.
Yeah, he was with that group for about 2 weeks. No, 2 or 3 weeks, and then eventually in episode 3. At the end of episode 3, the whole episode is taking place in well over 2 weeks, and at the end of the episode, you see me chasing after this guy. And then he jumps off, and he falls. He falls into a pit of zombies.
That's right. That's right. You were chased by Rocket. Calm down, Rocket. That was so awkward. I'm gonna be honest. The way he kept saying Rocket made me cringe, but smile at the same time.
Yeah.
It was just lip biting. Cringe, but also so enjoyable to watch, because you could tell that he was definitely having fun with that character.
And I had to snatch that joy away by killing off that character. No fun here. Anyway,
No fun here. You
so
can't
in episode
have the
3,
clown character. Remember?
No.
Remember when he said you were on EDA or something? Was it Steve said? I don't even know what that drug is. I would say, what are you drunk? Are you on LSD or something? Have you been hallucinating or something? You've been having too much of that marijuana.
It comes into play later on.
Is it a certain drug that's just in the DLTH universe or something?
You'll see.
Oh.
Anyway, So at the end of episode 3, Nathan sees the guy fall, and he says, "What an idiot!" Then the episode randomly just ends,
What an
and
idiot.
then
Yeah, I have to say though, there's this thing about someone like getting trapped and like crying for help and then dying by like a horde of zombies that just like actually terrifies me. Like other zombie stuff doesn't scare me, but like that will definitely like leave me hot and like, like the hairs on the back of my neck would stand up because of that. It's one of those things that like it's one of those things that you're afraid of happening, and the way that that's the actor for Steve was screaming was like, holy shit, that fear came back. Like, I have to admit, your series is like done extremely well. Like for a role play, it's I have to say some of it's so much better than Dying Like the Hunted. If I had more people, it would be better, but I don't have
yeah,
that many people. I have
that's
two
what.
people, and X Factor came and saved the series because he was the only one who had Dying Light. The two people who the original guy who was with that nurse, and the guys who were as
Yeah,
the Night Hunter and the person who did the stuff for Markov in episode 2. Those guys helped me, but it was more because I was forcing them to do it. It's like I didn't have anyone. I had a really big argument and fight with X Factor right after episode 1 was starting to get popular. I'm like, oh, god damn it. What are we gonna do? So I had the voice actor of Markov do a stand-in for Volna. I was gonna have you do the stand-in for the Quarantine Demon, but I felt like
I
your voice and just the way you
yes,
are. Also, since they're connected, why would the Quarantine Demon sound like Nathan? That would be kind of weird.
yeah,
So I decided to get the guy who did that Southern voice, which I have to admit, he did a very decent job, um, like a very good job as a Quarantine Demon. You guys do a very good job as voice acting. I gotta say, I apologize for how cringy episode two's Jason when he was in the infection. I was just sitting in my room like, "Hey, stay back, man." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that'll work." And I
yeah.
came
Stay
back.
back, man.
Yeah, stay back, man. Don't bite me, man. Ah, you bit me. You actually bit me. Oh, I didn't keep in a part where my brother bust out laughing where I said, holy fuck, holy fuck. It was like, it was so good. I really regret not keeping that in because originally Dying Like the Hunted, after episode 1, my brother was very critiquing with it, and I was like, episode 2 is not going to be as serious. And then I changed my mind in episode 3 and 4 and realized it was going to be extremely serious. Like episode 2,
Yeah.
not my best work. Episode 1, extremely good. Episode 3, could be better. Episode 4, season finale, best thing I've ever done in Dying Like the
Best
Hunted.
thing you've ever done. It was a masterpiece, if I would say.
Masterpiece. I had some tears to my eyes during the end. Oh, poor Nate. Nate's dead. Oh.
One single tear that I was going to mail you, but then you
Yeah.
spoiled my plans.
Yeah, too many people have been sending me cum in the mail. It's getting old. Like I've been trying I'm
Yeah.
making like a cum pillar with it right now. Like in the middle of my room, my mom keeps asking, "What the fuck is that?" in the middle of the room, and I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing. Nothing." And then it's I've been adding on to it myself. It has my fans come at the bottom and mine at the top. We're almost to the ceiling at this point. Um oh, it's kind of dripping. Ah, it's starting to melt. I should probably put it in the freezer. Um Anyway, enough about my fans sending me cum in the mail. Let's get back to Dying Like the Hunted, and the Onslaught. Dying Like the Hunted and the Onslaught.
Yeah.
That's just what the when we make the playlist for all of it, um, we're probably gonna have to make it Dying Like the Hunted cinematic universe, and then just add in between. So like I'll put episode 1, then your episodes, like episode 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 and 6. Then episode 2 and 3, episode 2 goes with me. Then your episode where Max comes to the countryside, and then episode 3 for me, and then the season finale for yours, then the season finale for mine. Oh wait, no, season finale for mine comes first because I think one of your endings might coincide with DLTH's ending. So yeah, it would go mine then yours at the end because you have many endings coming up, right?
Hold on. I'll be back.
All right. While he's gone, I want to talk a little bit about. We've already talked about Nate's and Volna's backstory, their kind of relationship. I have to say that there were about 4 or 5 partners that Nate had. One was the guy who looked like Bill from Left 4 Dead. He was the guy who got killed by that super soldier. Another was a woman who was she had black hair. She was very into using throwing knives and silenced pistols and stuff like that. She died during a military raid that was on one of the Wolf Spider safe houses, which was not fun for Nate. Another was his brother. Nate had a brother. I never actually brought it into canon, but I'm thinking that his brother might have been someone who was in the military and they had a shootout. So Nate didn't know it was his brother. He just thought it was some military guy, and they had a shootout, and he ended up killing his brother, and he found out about it later on, and that really fucked up with his psyche. And then, so in the end, he did lose everything. He lost his brother, he lost his father, his mother, he lost his one of his partners, he lost his other partner, and then at the end, he lost Volna, and he didn't even know it. He lost Markov too. One of his best friends, he lost Markov. And, well, he caused Jason to hate him because it ended up with Jay dying, and so he did not have a good life. He did not go gently into the death. He was a very tragic character, a very broken man, and I know I didn't really spend that much time explaining it. Maybe I did a bad time, but Nate's character is probably one of the saddest characters I made. What's interesting is that while I was, I might, I don't know how to say this because I don't like saying, like, I'm depressed on the internet because, a lot of people fake that. But during when X Factor and I had that little fight, I got extremely, sad. I don't know if it was depressed, if staying in your bed every day, not finding the motivation to get up every morning, and the only thing able to do is write and, feel extremely down, isn't depressed. I don't know what is. So, during that, I started writing Nate's character. I started writing more of his arc, his backstory, and it got to the point where I felt for Nate. I felt for what the pain he was feeling, and I don't think if I wasn't, sad, extremely sad during that, I don't think I could have made as sad of a character as him. Same thing with Volna. They're both very tragic characters. But hey, a part of me being extremely sad during that worked out in the end because we got 2 amazing.
Yeah, good thing you were depressed.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing I was depressed because we got 2 amazing characters out of it. But yeah, that was kind of what I thought up of. Anyway, yeah, you're back. So what we were talking about. So your ending would probably come after the season finale of DLT.
I do want to explain something. So, you know how episode 3, how it just ends after I say, wow, what an idiot, after that guy falls into a pit of zombies?
Yeah.
It just ends, and then the next episode, I'm hallucinating something. I'm just seeing something. And Look at there, there's Steve. And it's just this weird fever dream type thing.
Yeah.
And I just end up waking up in a bus where Steve lives.
Oh.
I do want to explain how I got there. You know how the whole thing was cut out. There's a part where
Yeah.
it shows how I end up going all the way to. I'm just gonna call it the boat.
Yeah.
Where I get sent to the boat, and then here I'll just try to like find the clip because I don't think I deleted it, but it was. I didn't really like it too much, so I said, "Why not? Let's just cut it out and just make the next episode where I wake up." How I woke up there is I got sent there because I don't know how to explain it. I basically just passed out.
Ah.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, I get it.
That's what I just wanted to say because if that was a little confusing how I just went there out of nowhere.
Well, I think maybe. Ow! My phone dropped on my forehead. I'm thinking maybe that fever dream was actually the drug that Steve was talking about. Perhaps he was passed out when that guy fell into that pit of zombies. And Steve found him, brought him back, put him on those drugs, and started to dig into him, saying, "How fucking dare you leave me," and all that. And then, right when he started to wake up, he walked out of the bus and walked back in to simulate that it was just him hallucinating. But in reality, he just wanted to grill Nathan for leaving him.
Well, the whole story is not out yet, so
We'll see.
you'll see. Like I literally say all the time when you think of an idea or you ask what happens, I always say,
It's not out yet.
"You'll see."
You'll see.
It's not out yet. You'll see.
Yeah,
Wait now,
exactly.
idiot.
I don't know. Am I a good writer, or am I just thinking up of cliched ideas that I've heard of other times? I don't know.
Well, if you heard of them, then I'm never gonna use the idea if I've heard of it
I don't.
before. So
Yeah, exactly. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of someone like grilling on someone while they were like drugging them. I don't think I've heard of that.
what was the drug called? BBC or
Yeah,
something?
BBC or something like that.
Yeah, BBC.
Big black cock.
All right. What episode did Steve mention it in?
It was. I think it was during the episode
6.
during the clown.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, it was the clown chase.
Yeah.
I remember you sent me the first part of the clown chase, and when the episode came out, I skipped that chase scene and went right to the next part because I memorized what had happened. Like, first the one guy gets taken down by 2 of the zombies and and the fire. Then Rocket like falls to his death.
Rocket.
And then the clown gets killed by the Crusher and 2 zombies.
Yeah.
The fact that Steve
So
didn't believe Steve, I mean Nathan, what he should have done in the beginning is he should have told Steve that he heard 2 people were planning to kill him. This was just a rumor that near the school 2 people had planned to kill him, and that when the clowns came up, he'd be like, "See, I told you. I fucking told you, man," and that he'd have to believe him.
yeah.
Nathan is not smart. Nathan is big dumb. Big small
Nathan
brain.
is stupid.
He's big small brain.
Oh, it was BBE, not BBC.
BBC, big black
Coke.
Europeans. Big black European.
Yeah. Yeah. But That is definitely part of the Onslaught. We didn't just mention it out of nowhere. We definitely did that.
So that's
There's
a
a whole
specific,
part.
yeah. So there's a specific drug that was made, in the DLTH universe. Then,
It did not start the virus.
but we already know what the virus is. Well, unless you're saying that your virus is different than the DLTH's, which is a mutated version of the flu and rabies together, which mutated to form together, and then it was, genetically modified by the demons and the cult. Because
If I'm a,
that's so freaking meta. Because remember, the cult shows up in the Onslaught, but not in DLTH.
so I introduced them first. Haha.
Yeah, so you're the cool man.
Yeah, I'm the cool man now. Anyway, BBE stands for. I didn't think about the name. Mr. Steve, the one that the idiot. He joking. If he's watching this, which he does watch your channel every now and then.
That's cool.
Yes, he does. God, how long is this video?
It's probably gonna be like an hour and a half. Cause it's gonna be it's gonna be an episode of the Magic podcast that the Magic podcast. I already worked on one where it was my most like painful memory would just be accidentally calling my uncle dad because I mistake their heads, the back of their heads, for each other's. And then talking about dying like the hunted. This is just another one of us where you're just the guest basically. Here we're talking about the DLTH universe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway,
I love how dying like the hunted is too long. That I shortened it down to DLTH. Sounds like a drug.
I do. Oh heck yeah! I do DLTH all the time.
I smoke DLTH every fucking minute of my life.
My lungs are turning into
Pulp.
pulp.
My lungs have begun to look like Kyle Crane.
My lungs are looking like black tar.
My uterus came out.
I'm bleeding from my eyes.
I'm bleeding from my penis. Guys in puberty like, holy shit, I'm peeing blood. Imagine if that's how we had, if we had periods. That would be so epic. I'd be like, we'd make it an Olympic sport. See who could shoot out the most blood. What if it came out like when you peed and it hurt like kidney stones? So people were screaming while they were shooting blood out of their cocks. I would watch that. I would watch that sport.
Best freaking sport of like 2021. That's
Dude,
like the best sport. I would watch that all day.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, let's please make that happen.
Women
please.
Women will stop complaining about saying how they have it worse because they have periods. We'll just have us have periods, and then we'll make it into a sport and be like, Uno reverse card, biatch.
This is epic.
This is so epic. Kind of like that, that song about the short dick man, and then we just dance to it. It's like such a bop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk about like political stuff, but it's just so funny that every time women try to one up us, we always turn it around into something like comedic.
I know.
Because it shows who's the better gender. Haha. Just kidding. Both are equally important. Bone marrow babies.
I wouldn't really say that.
Bone marrow babies.
I'm
probably gonna cut
we got
out.
off track so fast.
We went from dying like the hunted universe to bone marrow babies.
Bone marrow babies.
That's them after like 5 seconds in the world, and then they die.
For the for the first 5
I
seconds.
think it's
That's
obvious that the quarantine demon was a bone marrow baby.
obviously.
Ugh.
Somehow he lived. Somehow.
Somehow,
He
the
might not make
the
it.
virus mixed with his bone marrow, and he became
Yes.
the big beefy boy.
Big beefy boy. So he's part zombie. He's part
Whoa!
infected.
What if we? What if we made that actually a thing that he's part zombie?
He's the night hunter in disguise.
No, that
He's one
doesn't
of
make sense.
he's using those comedic glasses with glasses, big nose, and mustache.
No, no, it's just we make an animation of the quarantine demon. He just has one of those disguise mustaches on, takes off those glasses. Boom! It's the quarantine demon. What the fuck?
What? What?
That's crazy.
Anyway, I wanted to say BBE stands for Bolter Break Express.
Oh, so that's why everything was like kind of greenish. What if I put in for the Forgotten Agents? If when I get the bolter tissue, it like the smoke, like the steam from the samples, like gets both of us high for some reason, and we had to write that down as like a thing, and then we find out that it's actually a drug created in Haran's underground, like a black
We
market
should,
drug.
yeah, we should make like a video. Welcome to the video, guys, and today this is how to make
BBE.
BBE.
First, you take a bolter sample. Next, you cook it over a fire for about 5 to 15 minutes, during which you need to boil a cup of water, a pan of water. Put the cooked bolter sample into the water and let it melt. Let it melt off the bones, and then take the bones out, and then stir it till it's almost nothing but steam. Then just smell that steam, and boom, you got yourself some BBE.
Yeah. Next step is leave your house immediately because the cops are coming and you don't want to get caught by them.
Exactly. That is actually that's so smart. I can't believe. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, anyway, we've been getting way off track. I think this is just how I am with
I know.
people. This originally was going to be a timeline of every single piece of Dying Light: The Hunted, but honestly, I don't really want to do that. It's just like I'd rather just kind of talk more about the series as a whole, kind of like how the characters work. Let me go over the factions
That's a good idea.
of DLT8.
Yeah.
So the first faction is, of course, now you called them the Haran military. I called them the GRE agents because the global relief
I
efforts were actually they're actually in Dying Like the Hunted, but they're not like they are in Dying Light. They are a group of people sent down. They don't know much about the virus, so they're sending agents in to collect samples. And they sent a special group, which is Agent 97 and the second agent. I don't know what his name is. That's X Factor's agent. But both of
Agent
them,
your mom.
Agent your mom, yeah.
Agent
They were sent
69.
to bring Nate Grant into custody because they like after the during part 2. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. During part 2, when they when the quarantine demon took over the speaker, hijacked the signal, he said that our leader has been murdered by a wretched snake. Originally, I was just going to put Nate's name down, but that's one of the reasons that they're looking for Nate, because they think he has something to do with the murder of the butcher, and then they find out he's a mercenary and a contract killer, and he's been killing people for months now. So they need to take him into custody for questioning, and to go on trial for all those murders. He probably would have gotten life in jail, 15 life sentences without parole. But yeah, So you got the GRE agents. The Haran military were apart. They were like they were just the military, and they got wiped out by the cult and by the demons. This next faction is the demons. They were at first were just a street gang, kind of like the Yakuza in that are in Japan. They were extremely violent. They were like a mafia band. They basically bought off the police so that they would leave a blind eye to the demons. So they would kidnap people, they would cause havoc. Their entire idea was just to be menaces to the city. And for a while, the Butcher was that. He would maim, torture, kill innocents, and then he, got soft. He was tired of all the carnage, and he decided he just wanted to watch the city die out. The Quarantine Demon, who was like his Quarantine Demon, the Butcher was the Quarantine Demon's like hero. And then he found out the Butcher was going soft, and he was like, "Oh damn, I guess we gotta kill this guy off." So they had a secret meeting, and they decided anybody who was against the Quarantine Demon, against the Butcher, would go with Quarantine Demon. If they were a loyalist, they'd go with the Butcher to the radio station. And, well, everybody in the radio station got murdered, and then the Quarantine Demon became the new leader of the demons, and the demons weren't just a street gang anymore. They were a militarized, like, full-on, force to be reckoned with group. And not only were the GRE agents a part of it, because a lot of them went AWOL. A lot of them were sent to help civilians and collect samples, kind of like the two agents, but they went AWOL, and they decided to become the ghosts. Not the ghosts, the shadows. And so they went under the Quarantine Demon's payroll, and they basically, they went around the city, like Old Town, beating up civilians, trying to get, news on where Nate was. And, they were guarding the prison along with the demons. So let me get back to talking about the next faction, which is the Tower.
Alright.
So the Tower, Markov was originally just like an accountant. He was a human resource guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yo, we just doing the we just helping out the people here because we're losing supply shipments." And like after that, he becomes, basically the scout leader of the people who are collecting supplies and stuff. And that's basically what happens. Jason is a part of the Tower faction. He's the guy who stays on on the radios, on the computers. He looks up stuff about the virus. The other faction, well, of course, is the Wolf Spiders. We've already talked about those. And then, of course, the Cult. But they're coming in season 2, so that's another faction. There will be remnants of the demons in season 2, along with maybe a few remnants of the Tower. I haven't decided yet, but the entirety of the Shadows have been wiped out, completely just all dead. But those are all the factions for DLTH. I'll let Lando talk about the rest.
Alright. I don't know why. I kind of want to talk about Last Hope for a second. Because I thought talk about a faction in Last Hope. Okay. Alright. So I wanted to talk about Last Hope for like a minute.
Okay.
You probably don't really care about Last Hope, and
actually, I
really
watched
understand.
a bit of it. It's an interesting, It's a good start.
Yeah, it's basically my first roleplay, but remastered 3 times.
Huh. That's.
And
Huh.
I'm gonna remaster it again after I'm completely done with that Dying Light movie and Dying Light, the Onslaught season.
I
Freaking
might remake Dying Like the Hunted eventually, like maybe in the next like 2 years when my voice gets like a little bit deeper, when I have more time on my hands and I have more people to work with.
yeah. Sorry if you groaned. All right. Anyway, so in the in the credits, or they even mention it in the show. There's there's this faction called the Peacekeepers. Literally the same Peacekeepers in the Dying Light 2. And I thought I was gonna keep doing the Last Hope till Dying Light 2 comes out, but no. And
Because it's coming out this year, but we don't know when.
yeah, season. I was gonna say season 4 around that.
Yeah,
That's gonna
season
take place
two,
in Dying Light 2.
Dying Like the Hunted season 3 is definitely going to be on Dying Light 2. No, no cap. Definitely going to be there.
Heck yeah!
Anyway.
I'm gonna make a complete new series on Dying Light 2. But that's a little while.
Yeah.
Don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted to say about Last Hope.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's see. I think we are at the hour. Yeah, we're at an hour and 9 minutes, so we will probably get finished up here. But we'll do another episode eventually once I've gotten the rest of the stuff done. But we've gotten most of the story of DLTH and the Onslaught and the kind of combination of where each work. Oh yeah. Before we go, let's talk about kind of like the time where each is set. Because I know that it's mostly kind of like a week when Nate is in the coma. And I'm guessing during that week is when first episodes 1, 2, and 3 during the Onslaught go on. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Probably, I'm just guessing here, but Max, in the latest Onslaught episode, Max came to countryside. And I'm thinking probably beforehand, Max goes to the countryside first, then Nate came. Or it's the other way around. One or the other came first. Um, I'm gonna say it was probably Nate came after because those two guys, that one guy that Max was there to meet was in the countryside, but he wasn't there when Nate showed up. So I am going to guess that Nate came here after. However, there was still a buggy there. There was a buggy when Nate got there, but I don't remember seeing a buggy during the Onslaught. Well, we didn't actually get to see where that was, so maybe there was a buggy there. Who knows? But I'm going to be guessing that the buggy isn't there when the Onslaught happens, and that's going to kind of show that Nate gets there after those two. Um, and then, of course, when Nate's getting all the supplies, like when he's doing the death race, that's when probably the next episode, the Onslaught's going to be taking place. And then the last episode happens when Nate's getting the Wild Goose Chase. I'm saying that Nate's probably going to probably be staying in his cell for at least 2 days. And then he gets let out. Like, he gets let out by the quarantine demon after, that whole amazing dialogue that are created. Not to jack myself off, but anyway.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
Or,
like 2 days, and I'm guessing during those 2 days, the next episode of the Onslaught would be taking place, and then during the Wild Goose Chase that Nate gets all the stuff, that's when the last episode, the Onslaught's going to be taking place, and then right when the nuke hits, those are where the endings come in. But yeah, with Forgotten Survivors, or not Forgotten Agents, that takes place during the entirety of Dying Like the Hunted. We'll be going in to it'll be in a different idea of how dangerous the virus was in the beginning and how it kind of weakened as time went on. How it was like that's the only reason Nate was even able to survive those nightmares is because they were weak. They were weakening. If they had been to full power, Nate would have definitely died. But it shows off like how Nate affected the demons. Like the demons, they'll know that they're like a group, the agents, but they won't know that they are actually like the crazy monsters that they are. So there might be like the agents might actually work with the demons, but then after the demons completely destroy the tower, they'll run and they won't mess with the demons ever again. I also have to show the part where both agents show up at that one radio tower safe house that Max came to. I'm probably gonna have I'm gonna try to do frame by frame of how Lando did that scene and do it in a first person instead, and maybe get like a third person to be as Max, like be in like the background where you could barely see him, just to show, oh hey, it's those guys.
Oh, hey, it's those guys, yeah.
Originally, I didn't think that those two soldiers were gonna be the agents, but I mean, who knows? I might add that in as a little nod to being the agents, but if Lana doesn't want that, it'll just be they were at the same place as those other soldiers. Simple as that.
Okay, let's do a fan meetup real quick.
All right. Yeah, fan meetup.
Yeah, fan meetup time.
Yeah, get some fans in here.
This guy wants to say hi. He liked your series. He's your biggest fan.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I'm your biggest fan.
Say it louder.
I'm your biggest fan!
That's awesome.
He actually liked your series. To be serious. He actually did like your series.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was nice and hairy and long.
Shut up. Okay, shut up.
Like my cock.
Yeah. Anyway.
So many pistachios.
Well, that's your fault for spilling them. Alright, what were you talking about? Well, I knew what you were talking about, but where'd you leave off?
So I left off at probably where Dying Like the 100 Forgotten Agents is going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Forgotten Agents will be that. Dying Like the 100 Season 2, of course, is going to be 4 years after Season 1 in 2021. So that'll be kind of cool. We'll get to see the age jump of a few characters that will be coming back. There will be definitely a lot of new characters. Characters from the Onslaught would definitely be interjoining with the Season 2 for sure. No doubt about that. Lando, I'm gonna be stealing all of your actors. They're coming with me.
That's fine. That's fine. Just shove them in a Discord call and have their address pulled up, trying to get them scared. Force them.
So you live here,
do
huh?
your lines.
You better do these lines, or I'm gonna find you, and the Night Hunter's gonna come rip your balls off.
Yeah.
You hear that? Hear that, Onslaught actors? I know you're watching this. I'm gonna rip your balls off if you don't do the voices for me.
Combustion.
Jesus. Yeah, I'd do the same to your actors. What I'm gonna do with
the quarantine demon actor? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's.
I'm gonna have his address pulled up.
I think that's the reason you wanted to get
say
into
his
a call
last
with
name
me.
a couple times.
You know how to record Discord calls, right?
I don't really like doing it like that because I don't really have it. If I do it on my phone, it can't record the audio in my PC.
I suppose if you want to do the lines, I could just mute my mic and record it for you, and then
you're just gonna have to do it like how you did.
Yeah, send the audio to you. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope you guys
Shut up.
enjoyed this.
That means I'm gonna have to continue back on the scripts again.
It sucks, but you know it's okay because, Carissa Bog's really good at doing scripts. I think he's an actual he's a professional voice actor, or he could be, if you wanted to. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
Hold
I
up.
am shitting myself. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of the podcast. Yeah. By the way, this was a podcast, so I hope you guys were doing stuff while listening to this, other than staring at that retro Dying Light image in front of you, because that would have been extremely homosexual, like my mom. Just kidding.
Yeah.
My mother is not gay. Anyway, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed tonight's podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next video, be it Dying Like the Hunted Season 2, Dying Like the Hunted Forgotten Agents, or just another video entirely. And now I will wait for Lander Productions to say penis, and then I will cut the audio.